Hi, welcome to She Spice. So Oprah is making the news adjust once more, and this time, it seems as though she's confronting reaction over her supposed endeavors to destroy Toni Braxton's vocation. A few pretty fascinating recordings have reemerged, where Toni depicts how Oprah almost forfeited her to push her own profession. Forward C, Toni showed up on Oprah's show at a time, at the point when she was confronting liquidation and managing different medical problems. The last thing she expected was for Oprah to destroy her hum, humiliate her, and attempt to cause her to appear like a flighty lady. Yet that is precisely the exact thing Oprah did, and Toni's profession and notoriety endured a hard shot due to that solitary meeting with Oprah. Anyway, fans are currently bringing up that this is somewhat Oprah's MO. At whatever point dark performers show up on her show, she gives her very best for make them look awful. Likewise, they dare not go against Oprah at all, or they'll quickly figure out exactly how a very remarkable harasser Oprah can be. Simply ask Monique and crazy. However, what does Toni Braxton need to say about Oprah after such a long time? We should figure it out. So cracking meant a lot to me. Do you get a sense of ownership from the circumstances that you're in right now? 100%, 100%, 100% I was unable to accept it. Because Toni Braxton is spilling all the tea on how Oprah did her messy when she showed up on her show such an extremely long time prior. At the time, Toni was confronting one of the most troublesome snapshots of her profession. She was a huge number of dollars underwater, and she needed to seek financial protection. The entire time she was additionally handling bits of gossip, circling in the media about how she was underwater because of her extravagant way of life, which, as per her, was false. Yet in the event that she wasn't spending luxuriously, how could she end up there regardless of being one of the best R&B craftsmen of her age? Toni was selling nearly 40 million records brought into the world by an exceptionally strict family. Toni began her singing profession in her congregational ensemble. She later turned out to be important for the singing gathering. The Braxton, including her and her four sisters, Tracy, Twanda, Trina, and Tamar, grabbed the attention of music chief Antonio Lareed and maker Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, and they marked Toni to their name-laying records in July 1993. Toni Braxton's self-named collection was delivered under Leif Records to a crazy business and basic achievement. The collection crested at number 1 on the US Announcement 200 and graphed the top 10 in Australia, Canada, Germany, New Zealand, and the UK. The collection favored the world with immortal singles like Another Miserable Love Melody and Inhale Once More, and would pack 3 Grammy grants and 3 American Music grants before very long goodness. It likewise got confirmed multiple times platinum. Her next collection was significantly more noteworthy. Toni delivered Mysteries in 1996. Furthermore, aside from accomplishing all that the primary collection accomplished, Privileged Insights additionally sold 15 million duplicates universally. And obviously, that collection provided us with the greatest singles of Toni's profession. Unbreak My Heart, and You're Making Me High. Unbreak My Heart. Toni applauds Braxton. As of now, in her vocation, Toni was an easily recognized name. You were unable to talk about pop or R&B without referencing her name. With a huge number of collections sold overall, Toni had made many individuals extremely rich. Well, aside from herself, Toni Braxton, the global hotshot, had to petition for financial protection in 1998. That very year, she made her Broadway debut as Beauty in Magnificence and the Monster. It would later come out that Toni had been involved in a warmed claim with her record over their refusal to pay her what she was worth. Toni was endorsed by LaFace, yet she had a conveyance manager, Arista Records. This man said that anything that benefits her music was making got partitioned all over before it got to her. And when it got to her, she needed to pay Uncle Sam, her director, her group, and every other person. So all she got was peanuts. Now, you would believe that Oprah would comprehend how these things functioned, considering she was likewise in the business, a lady and dark. Yet when Toni showed up on the Oprah show in Walk 1998, Oprah didn't keep down. She tore Toni to pieces, blaming her for purchasing Gucci flatware when Oprah didn't have Gucci flatware above all else. I didn't realize Gucci made flatware when you had Gucci flatware and Child Excellent pianos. What's more, if you're accustomed to wearing $5,000, $6,000, and $7,000 outfits all at once and burning through $500 on a couple of shoes, Do you get a sense of ownership with the circumstances that you're in right now? 100%, 100%, 100%. How did that happen? On the grounds that I permitted every one of my funds to become every other person's funds. That is basically the way in which I got over here. A ton of you realize you wear the, like you said, the costly dresses and the shoes and all that sort of stuff. However, the thing was going on. I was funding by and by with my vocation. The picture that everybody sees. I was the one supporting it, the vast majority. Are you know, since the old studio days, air are a distant memory with Elizabeth Taylor, yet somebody's making you $180 million. And I got 1/20th or 100th of that. It makes it essentially unimaginable. It's my shortcoming since I trusted and I accept. And I came to Atlanta and I met this multitude of superb individuals and I trust them. And they had faith in me and my ability. And I was like, they must be relied upon them with your cash. I realized, right, I truly did. I true. You could have done without handle every one of your checks. And sign every one of your checks. I didn't do that. You realize I would get my cash and move it over to others. Now and again, they went straightforwardly to those individuals. Since foreign's I'm out and about I know every one of these, and I would watch your show, and I hear you express you in book. Cause furthermore, you say ensure you sign every one of your checks. Sign you're definitely begun that way. You didn't really accept that us began. I didn't. I just trusted it everybody else. I had confidence in even every other person. You realize I'm attempting to dominate the creativity, the singing, and I'm singing, and I'm in front of an audience, and I'm on visit for nearly 12 months. And a great deal of times, it's simply fundamentally Oprah was explaining to Toni that the justification for why she was bankrupt was that she was a wild flippant and needed great monetary administration abilities. I read that you were annoyed about stories that your overspending caused this cause apparently, and you can clarify for us anything you desire to clear up for us. Yet, apparently regardless, whether you accept that you got the rate, that you have felt that you actually realized that there was a sure measure of cash coming in precisely X precisely, and you overspent that measure of cash. Well, I was doing math 1. In addition to 1 is 2, the entire day, the whole way across the world, and I was all the while coming up negative. So I'm believing that cashes, I've sold north of 20 million records, so cash will come in MH, and a ton of times you just get like a check 2 times every year. Goodness do you, that happens like when the assertions come in, so I'm think, okay, I'll have cash coming in. I'm visiting MH. This enormous public featuring visit, cash is coming in, however. At that point, there's no cashes coming in Mfchem. So are you spending okay? That is the key there, Toni. Are you burning through cash when there's no cash coming in? I was burning through cash on visiting. It's pricey, like you realize. So you're here in the studio. You need to pay for the lights you have. You need to pay for each and every one. I really want to return home before long, right? Yes, indeed, it's pricey, over the top expensive. So every time you show up for a show, all that you see is that individual to bring there. Yes, precisely. So these seats we're paying for. You pay for the seats, and everything else. So I put a truckload of cash into my profession, a large chunk of change in my vocation. For instance, a ton of specialists of my type would get visit support. I didn't get visitor support. I got a credit. So while I'm visiting, I need to repay the credit as well as the expense of visiting. So it was something that I was unable to produce. I was unable to escape the case. So what is it that you've caught on to quickly forward to 2010? Anton wound up in a similar monetary tempest. She was in 1998 and broke vigorously in the red. En route to Part 7 liquidation. At this point, Toni's vocation had piled up much more noteworthy focuses with her collections. In excess of a lady in Libra, she likewise had an effective acting profession, with a few driving jobs added to her repertoire in 2006. Toni started her Las Vegas residency shortly after supplanting vocalist Wayne Newton. Although the show Toni Braxton uncovered was at first booked to go through to Walk 2007, it was subsequently stretched out to August 2008 due to its prosperity. Anyway, Toni, out of the blue, got determined to have a condition known as microvascular angina, or MVA for short, which is a heart condition. Thus, her show must be dropped sometime thereafter, and she needed to be hauled out of the series. hitting the dance floor with the stars to recuperate from a medical procedure to eliminate a harmless bosom growth. She got determined to have lupus, an innate immune system sickness that took her uncle's life. The specialist told Toni she could at no point ever have the option to act in the future, with the exception of perhaps a couple of melodies to a great extent. This sent Toni back into obligation, causing her to seek financial protection once more in 2010 at the Vegas show. "I just restored every one of my agreements with every one of my sellers, and afterward, a month after the fact that I became ill at the time, court records assessed that Toni owed between $10 million and $50 million. She needed to auction a portion of her garments, gems, and vehicles, even her Grammys, to take care of her duty obligations. However, she actually had a backbreaking obligation. She has petitioned for Chapter 11 appraisers who are currently assessing her own belongings, her child's excellent piano, her Gucci flatware, her Porsche, and her Lexus." Subscribe She Spice for more videos.